This looks pretty bad, but to be honest with you, it gives me an indicator for where this comes in. This is where that one reflector, there's 2 bolts. One of them will go there. That's another weld, matches the other side. There's also a body mount here, both, and that's still intact. This one I've already got sort of cleaned up. I threw it in the sandblaster over there and cut out all the old, and I kept like this little bit right here, which I'll show you is good. So I do have my panels. I've used my box several times. I got the 2 panels in here. And you can see this radius here is the same as that. So I don't know if I'll need that indicator, but it also shows me that these are the 4 holes that hold on the wheel tire carrier that I have. I did buy this piece. If I were to buy this whole sill, it's $500, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it when I know I can do metal work. This is the piece that goes here, and you know, with that end there is an indicator. There's not much left, but I left just enough there. That shows how it matches up, because that sill is just sort of the cover piece. You need all the reinforcements underneath. So I'm gonna use as much as I can of this, which there's still a lot of really good metal here. I am not concerned about that. It's not doing a lot of work, except for right at the body mount, which I'm going to reinforce. What I plan to do here is I have a Buddy 78 outside, and I've been able to sort of do the best I can to see how this was made. But essentially there was a reinforcement that matched this. Of course, that's the top. So my plan is to do like this and take a piece of angle. And then, of course, I'll use this same plate here for that to close the section out. All right, I've heard muriatic acid works for getting rust. This stuff is a converter. I've tried that stuff. Of course, I got a sandblaster, which does a nice job. But I have heard of this. Use what is it? Can you read it? Right there. 99% sodium carbonate. pH up is what you're looking for. You put it with some water. And then you hook it up to a battery, which I think I'm just going to use a battery charger. And this, I haven't tried it yet. This was sandblasted and a little bit of grinding. But I might put this in there too. But I'm going to try that bad boy and that solution and just see. Think it'll work? I don't know. Can't get any worse than that, though. I heard you need about a cup for 5 gallons. This is about 2.5, so I'm just going to pour. Let's go that much. See what that happens. So we got the electrolyte mixed with the water. Warm water is better, but I don't have warm water out here in the barn. That is supposed to help the electricity flow. Then you need a sacrificial anode, I think is what they're calling it. My understanding is that goes to the negative side. This should be out of the water. And then you take your part, which my bath isn't quite big enough, but we're just going to see what happens here. You take the positive wire to the part. I feel like I should grab the side of the bucket so it doesn't move around on me. It'll probably be better to have the anode on all sides of it, but I think essentially, I might have to add more water here too, but essentially you're just pushing the rust off. So I'm going to only run it on 4 amps because apparently people run this thing for like 24 hours. You probably could bump it up, but I don't know how hard it would be on this machine. Having a battery in between is probably not a bad thing to absorb. We'll watch it here for a second. It's supposed to bubble. I can't tell if anything's happening. I got this thing cranking on 60 amps just to confirm what's happening. And it's doing its job. Appears to be. Breaks the water down. Oxygen and hydrogen. You got the electrolyte. We've experimented with that before because we saw that's how you can burn that gas. It's probably really dangerous though because it's hydrogen and oxygen, so it will burn inside of any container because you have the right stoichiometry of the two gases. But we just filled like a hot air, or I'll say a hot air balloon. No, we did like a trash bag and lit it, and it puts off a pretty nice little pop. Like, dang, my anode's super clean. Oops. I just touched parts. It's not good. I better disconnect that. Yeah, I think your negative is supposed to go to the part. At least I got a nice clean anode though. You can see it clearly is working well. So we'll flip it around here. Try again. It's been maybe 30 or 40 minutes. You can see that thing's getting pretty nasty. So I noticed after I switched it, the bubbles should be coming off of the part. That's more of the pushing, I think. I added another anode because I noticed it was only bubbling on one side towards the other one. So I added another piece and just the alligator clip. Seems to be working. I'll keep an eye on it. Pull the anode out. And that is about maybe a half an hour's worth of stuff. Look at that. Probably benefit from, oh, that's interesting. I only did like a portion of it. So the anodes need to be, looks like cleaned off every once in a while. Get that junk. Curiosity has got the best of me. I'm wondering if that'll collect any hydrogen. Let's see. Nope. Good morning. So it is about 9 o'clock. I've been running that thing at 4 amps like the entire night. You can see it is still working. And look at that nasty. Oh my goodness. Oops, sorry. Oof, look at that. All right. Let's disconnect some of this just in case. And let's see what the part looks like. There's some, appears to be clean metal. I don't know. To be honest, as bad as this part was, I was sort of expecting there might not be anything left after putting it in there, but that's that. Let's look at these anodes because these things look disgusting. Look at that. Yikes. And then this one is pretty crazy. Look at that. Neat. Well, it works. I want to see, I've scraped some of this before. Nasty trash can, sorry. Let's just see. I don't want to touch it. if it comes off there. It comes off, but it's pretty hard. Yeah, I'll have to scrape on that. That's pretty cool though. Pretty cool. So that was all on the part. And this thing, I might just wire it up, wire brush it a little bit and just see what might happen after I rinse it off. Yeah, cool. Now, the FJ's in the barn finally. It's pretty fantastic. We got a couple little small projects going on, but the next major one is getting the body lifted off, or at least up enough to be able to figure out how to reinforce it. And just thinking through this puzzle, I put jack stands under it to get the frame level. I might need to jack it up off of the frame and get that level instead of using through the suspension. All right, so what are you doing? What's going on here? Well, look at them. From here down to here, and this is what I got with my buddies. I'm like 49 and am I straight? Oh, that's actually 49 and a quarter. This one is 49 and an eighth. So maybe this has got to go up. One more.
One click.
One click. It's click for an eighth. I hope I don't shred my good straps. 49 and a quarter. And now I'm looking for the doors. But now that I look at the doors, apparently that is not going to be in my pocket. If I push this way, I can move this whole body around, right? I think. Oh, I'm afraid to push. If I push, kind of hard does that? Do they get more lined up?
A little bit.
That's what I'll fight against. Trying to get the doors right. I mean, the doors might not be on the hinges right either, right? I might have to wait and actually get this sill plate in, right? And then when I go to tack it, we'll move it around and then just okay.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I don't know, it should be here, here, or here. Like, where do you want the floor? That's actually pretty close now.
It is close.
Put, well, one of these will be,
body mounts.
one of these will set, so we get something like that. Essentially about right there. Maybe higher. And I have a new floor panel, right? So I got to build the reinforcement underneath this, the C channel, set right on here. So get that mounted, and then those mount these guys. So then somehow that's got to go there. This comes down, little spot weld. Yeah. Okay.
Boom.
Bam. I was trying to figure out if this is supposed to be even with this, or where this is supposed to place, but by looking at my buddies, it looks like this is even right here. That's the key. And it makes sense because the doors are kind of sort of getting there. So my plan is to pull that sill plate out. This reinforcement is going to go tight against this wall. And I'm going to put another one in here. And then these are places to spot weld. And then I'm going to weld this to the other one. So essentially I'm going to get this placed and I'm going to mark where these holes should be. And I'm going to get all my holes drilled. And then I'm going to figure out this location and use the T-square off of the edge. Get this lined up because this is even here, but on the side this has got a gap. And that's proper because this always goes over top of it. But then this sort of gets this channel here, and the channel goes away, and you get this weird overlap. That's just their styling. So I'm going to try and figure out how to place this guy and get the angle right and in and out. And hopefully I do it right. So hopefully, magically, like the internet does, the next time will be finishing that or something. I don't know. I'm sure you don't want to watch the whole thing. One side saved. This is the other side. It's not pretty. So, oops, sorry. Got a new piece here. Ooh, it actually lines up. We'll get that in there. Get some holes drilled. Somehow try to match those. Luckily, this side is actually it's the same part. They just flip it. So I have a template from that side. Didn't take too long. Draw. Still got to do the top. It lines up pretty good. That's the old thing. I actually measured. I used these guys and measured. Like from that hole I know is good. And then I just measured from the centers there. And then as far as this would go. And then just double check. The one thing I did notice is the outside holes are closer together. And these are 4 that are exactly the same. So I think the next thing I need to do though is, I mean that's super thick, a lot thicker metal. It's going to be a lot stronger, which I'm happy about because that is where the tire mount, there's the upper part, but the tire mount, lower portion. So I know that that's going to be nice and strong, which is fantastic. But, did I drop it? Oh yeah. So these have the, I believe they're M6s, so I'm going to get some M6 nuts. Those, of course, are weld nuts, which I don't have a weld nut thing, so that went like that. So I'm going to have to put those on the back side. Well, I'll give you a quick update with all the noise in the background, sorry. And I lost my voice from my cold, but I got black rust preventer on here. There's a sill. So I've got my weld nuts on there and my hat brackets and each of the body mounts. I did make a rookie mistake and welded too hot, and I ended up having to go back and cut this because I warped the whole thing. I didn't go slow enough, so lesson to me. But I went back and made a few slices, got it straight again, but a little bummed by that. But we're close. There, now you can probably hear me, but just fitting these parts on and getting the weld nuts on. But it was a lot of welding. That's pretty heavy now.